everyone! Welcome to the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma and today we're meeting in the studio, and as you can see I have a giant pile of dried flowers in front of me. These are flowers that are all from my garden, and I collected them over the summer with the intention to do various projects. But what actually happened is I got sidetracked by a big summertime project, and these all got stashed in this room in the studio. And this room is very humid. And so what happened is I dried them in the sun or in a south-facing window. They got dry. Then I left them in this room with the intention of doing projects with them, and they rehydrated from the moisture that's in the air. So when I was changing the studio, this used to also be my library and it had all of my books in it. So I was discovering that the moisture in this air in this room was damaging my books. So I started moving all my library books out, and obviously the dried flowers were in the way because they were just in a big pile. And I was discovering that they had rehydrated and they were getting kind of mushy. And I had to throw out some because they were even molding. So I took them all out, and they've been sitting in my dining room on the table and on the floor for months now. And they're basically just in my way for my seed starting station. So I either need to throw them all in the compost or do something with them. Now, I'm not saying that some of them won't end up in the compost. That's totally possible, but I did save them, so I'm hoping to do something with them. So today, what I'm going to try to do with as many things as I possibly can is use this wreath form and make a giant dried flower wreath. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to set this to the side. We'll go through everything that I have in this big pile and sort them out. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is, since I know that I'm making a wreath, I'm going to cut these down to size, manageable sizes. So, for instance, this is red twig dogwood. Jasmine's hair is going to be stuck to so much of this because it was in the main part of my house and not protected in this room where my dogs do not come in this room. So, yeah. Anyway, these were left over from a project that I did a couple of years ago. And so they have big long stems. I try to leave really long stems on anything that I dry, because I don't know what I'm going to do with them when I cut them for drying, usually. The fun thing that Spencer and I are going to do this year is we're building a specific rack to hang all of my dried flowers on to dry in the dining room, and then they could just live there until they get used, and they'll all be hanging basically from the ceiling, and I could clearly see what they are rather than in this giant pile, and I don't know what's what. So let's get to sorting. It's going to be a moment. Well. This is one of the things that got rehydrated, minus that. This was honeywort, and yeah, it had all these beautiful seed heads. I just don't know if they're salvageable, really. There's a lot of poppy seeds in here. And whatever the Celine, which is blushing lantern, and I don't know, something else. Okay. I'll probably just throw this box with all the seeds on them onto the hillside somewhere and just let all the seeds grow. Oh my goodness. Okay. This has a bunch of dried oranges in it. And, all right, let's get down to cutting some of these down. So, let's look. Okay. All right, I think we're just going to start with these things, and I'll go over what we have and how I'm going to do it, and then I'm just going to put it together. So this is Pearly Everlasting, and it is a native in our environment. You can see how prolific it is. The patch that I had was about 3 times that size. Then these are wedding flowers. Always forget the scientific name. I'll put that up in the screen. They make the most beautiful seed heads. These ones have lost their backs. So I'll try to get a close-up on this one right here, because these are the actual seeds. All these little dark spots in there, those are the seeds of this seed head. So you can see the seeds in there. These are echinacea, full of my dog's hair. Ouch. For those of you who are new to this channel, we have a Great Pyrenees. She has long white hair and it's everywhere. This is 3 or 4 different varieties of lavender that I've collected from farms and home, and I don't remember which variety is which at this point. These are purple asters that I dried. And then this is amaranth, and it's lost a ton of its color, but the texture is really interesting, so if I could work it in, I will. This is the first year that I've gotten amaranth to actually bloom in my garden, so it's just like a little point of pride. And then I have this huge clump of Celine or blushing lanterns, and you can see they have a like balloon flower kind of seed head. Outside of the rustle, you might be able to hear the rattle, and that means there's still a lot of seeds in here. Okay. This is Artemisia. And it did the leaves kind of curled up, and it got a little bit of yellowing, and that is because of being in here, getting rehydrated. So, but most of the silver color kind of stayed. I think I might just use this as sort of a background. It's a nice strong branch, and it would cover up my wreath ring really well. So, those are the things I'm going to use. Pearly Everlasting, Wedding Flower, Echinacea, Lavender, Aster, Amaranth, Artemisia, and Selene. Alright, let's do this. What I'll do is put them in this basket, I think. Hopefully. Okay, so I have this wreath ring. It is a 18-inch, which is a pretty good size ring. Just get rid of this. And move this out of the way. Now, the next thing I have is this paddle wire, what's called a paddle wire. It is just floral wire. Does it say what gauge? This is a 26 gauge. It's a little bit thin, but it'll do. I'm gonna leave it all together. We're not gonna take it out and cut it. We're gonna just leave it all together. We're gonna start. On the outside, and I'm just going to give it 3 good twists, like this, and just do that. All right, and now it's good and strong. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna cut off a bunch of these, kind of have them go around, because I am gonna want to kind of create bundles in just a moment. Okay, the rest of this is pretty smashed and a little bit discolored, so I'm just going to discard the whole thing. I'll tell you what, Artemisia has a very strong scent. Takes my breath away a little bit. Alright, so now that I have these cut down to size mostly, next ones that I'm going to do are these guys. Be pretty generous with them because I have a lot. So what I want to do is create little bundles. So I'm going to take a piece of Artemisia. I'm going to take a couple pieces of blushing lanterns. I'm going to take some lavender. I'm going to take an echinacea and wedding flower. Then I'm going to gather them all up in one place on the bottom. I'm going to cut them down right here so that I have a little stem. What else? Oh, I'm missing something. Feverfew. Where's that? Over here. So I could take a little bit of feverfew. Right here, I think. Very good. Cut that down. All right. Now, find where my paddle wire is again. Right here. I'm going to lay this down right here on the middle bar. And I'm going to take my paddle wire and I'm just going to wrap it 3 times. And then I want to make sure it's fairly snug, and I'm going to just leave it like that. I'm going to just keep making little bundles like that. So we'll take Artemisia, Selene, Lavender, ouch, Echinacea, and Feverfew. Now I'll probably do the wedding flower every 3rd bundle because I don't have very much. So we'll just kind of play with that. And then what I want to do is just lay this bundle right over, this is where my wrap is. I'm going to lay it right on top of there. I'm going to take my paddle wire. I'll do 1 cross wrap over the top of the flower. Get the wire down there. Then I'm going to come at the stems and I'm going to wrap it 3 times. Okay. And then I'll do another one. This one I kind of laid facing out. The next one I'll lay facing in. So I'm going to skip the seed heads on this one. We're gonna take it and see how the stem is here. We're gonna put this one towards the middle and are facing the flowers towards the middle. Just broke off, so let's do this. And then I'm gonna just take it over the top there and then get it down to the stem and wrap it 3 times. Pulling a little bit tight, but not so tight that it's gonna break the paddle wire. So for this last piece, I'm going to just lift this first piece up and stick it in there. This one's good and tight. Over this way. And then I have just a couple little holes that I want to fill. So I'm just going to come in here with some clumps of this Pearly Everlasting. And fill this hole. I'm just going to take my wire. Down here. And just gonna take a look around here. Okay. Like, this one can go right there. Okay, so I think that's good enough for tonight. I'll probably continue to fuss with it a little bit more. So all I'm going to do now is go ahead and cut. This off and go ahead and bring in the wire. A couple of times. Okay, so you can see I can fill in here and here, cover some of this wire showing. This is a little off, so there's just a few little things to tidy up, but I can just go ahead and wire those little things in separately. Okay, I'm much happier with that. There we go. So, we used a whole bunch of dried flowers, and now we have a very wintry looking dried flower wreath that we can hang up, and it will last through spring. It also looks like Eastery. You know, I think it can take me from January through April real easy. I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm gonna get my mess cleaned up. We'll hang this up somewhere, and then we'll probably do another dried flower arrangement of a different variety in the coming days to just use up the last little bits of everything else, especially now that I have it all arranged and I know what in the world we have going on. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you're celebrating your life, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.